Minister Scholz, thank you. And thank you to Germany for your leadership. Thank you also, Prince Murad, and Dr. Muhannad and Jordan, our other greatly valued co-host. Today we are meeting in this place where the past is meeting the future. This is a 100-year-old building, still alive, still surviving, and still functioning. But here in this building, we are putting the ground for a much better future for everyone in this world, especially for persons with disabilities. We all know about the challenges that we are facing these days. We all know about how much the word inclusion is becoming a problem in some places. We all know about the cuts. We are here meeting to say that there is no return. We will not go back of a society that is not inclusive. We will not go back to a society that does not respect human rights. We will not go back to a society where dignity of person with disability is not honored. This is a summit that is coming at a very challenging time, but we are ready for it. I would like our voice to be highly and strongly heard, that we're going forward regardless. This morning, I learned of the passing away on the 23rd of March of a great disability leader, Sushi Nakanashi from Japan. Sushi was a leader in pushing forward the idea of independent living in Japan and worldwide. It is because of leaders like Sushi and others that we are what we are today. My dear friends, you may ask, why do we need the Global Disability Summit? And let me be very clear to you. It is true that we are talking about commitment. And it is true that the Global Disability Summit is about getting governments to commit themselves to apply the CRPD. But it's also true that through getting together stakeholders, OPDs, civil society, and governments, we will be talking to each other, learning from each other in order to move forward. And we in IDA will not at all upset of competition among government to do better. Thank you, Minister Schultz, for your commitment, and I'm sure I'm going to follow with Jordan their commitment. We are coming from the Arab world, and we'll do it together, hopefully. Now, in 2017, when the GDS started, we said, let's move disability from the sideline to center stage. Thanks to previous Global Disability Summit, we have advanced real change, new laws, new services, new opportunities, but we see worrying signs of a slowdown in progress and real risk of going backwards. This year, we have a landmark, the Amman-Berlin Declaration. It calls for something simple but bold, 15% for the 15%. 15%, according to WHO, are persons with disability. And if I'm asked myself, I will tell you, even this 15%, because disability is progressive, every one of us in this world, sometimes in our life, we're going to have some form of impairment or disability. If you invest now in change, in inclusivity, in human rights, in pushing dignity, then you're doing it not for the 50%, for every one of you. But let's have 15% of global budget for development, of projects inclusive for persons that deal with disability. I also want to thank Germany for supporting the Global Disability Inclusion Report. Now, for the first time, we, IDA and UNICEF and Germany, we are producing this report. And this report is going to be a reference on how far we have gone into practicing inclusivity. It's also going to be an inclusive and educational report. how other governments have done, what kind of tools, how much it's going to cost, how can we include inclusivity as in the financial budget of states. And we are hoping, so hopefully every summit, before every summit, we'll have a new report talking about where do we stand now concerning inclusivity. So thank you very much, UNICEF, and stakeholder work on this report. And now, hopefully, we'll be launching it this afternoon, I guess, or tomorrow. My dear friends, inclusion saves lives. Inclusion not only saves life. In the long run, in fact, even in the middle run, inclusivity is about economic cut down on costs. Inclusivity means that people with ability will be working, will be productive, will be able to pay taxes, and instead of having government paying for them social security and social protection, they will be contributing to the state budget. If you make a good calculation, economic good calculation, I'm sure you understand exactly what I'm talking about. In fact, let me tell you something also. Disability inclusion doesn't work unless persons with disability are in the driver's seat. Now, there are practices that I have to mention, that there are lots of governments and even NGOs that do not really consult persons with disability. And they do not get OPDs to be on the table with them when they are putting policies or projects for implementation. And this is not nice and this is not good. Because not only about nothing about us without us, because we are the one who knows what does it mean to be on a person with disability. And we are now to tell them, look, you have taken this into consideration and you have taken that into consideration. Disability is very diverse. Disability is not only one part, it's a multiple kind of disabilities. And we have to take into consideration all that kind of disability. My dear friend, let me tell you something. IDA, as representative of networks of persons with disability, will always take into consideration the interests of our members. Take into consideration the premise, the importance for every disability concerning inclusion and how to move forward in this world. And that's why it is of vital importance, of a high level of emergency, that government not only consult OPDs, support OPDs, helps them to be more representative, to be more organized, to enhance their way of dealing, enhance their way of advocating, how to be a much better partners in doing so. The summons, as you know, comes at a tough time. Conflict, crisis, funding cuts. But that makes this moment even more urgent. Now is the time to double down, not back down. Just 2 days ago, I received an email from a friend of mine from a European country telling me that his government has cut on disability benefits. And I'm sure that we're going to face something of that kind all over the world. We're not going to sit and do nothing about that. Because any cut on disability benefit, on inclusion, is a question of death and life for every one of us. And during crisis, unfortunately, all in earthquakes that took place in Morocco and Syria and Turkey, wars in Ukraine, Gaza, West Bank, Sudan, Congo, and others, persons with disability are being left behind and they are losing their life. Why? Because they are not included properly in the humanitarian emergency crisis forces. And also because another reason, warriors do not think about persons with disability when they are fighting. Well, my dear friend, this is not the finish line. This is a launching pad for a new generation of disability leadership. So here's our call to action. Walk the talk. Fund inclusion. Back OPDs from day one and listen, really listen, to persons with disability. We are, in statistics, 1.3 billion people. You can't build a better world if you leave these people behind. Disability inclusion isn't optional. It is essential. And this summit is our moment to move from commitment to action together. Thank you, Germany. Thank you, Jordan. And thank all of you.